Every other tourist forgets these 22 things and then suffers for it on their trip. This is what I always forgot, and then I'd be on the plane slapping my forehead when I remembered. You won't necessarily need all of them. It depends on your destination and how much luggage you're bringing. But these are the very things that have saved me for over 30 years across 50 countries. A backpack, just a regular small backpack for day hikes or walks around the city. You can bring it with you as a carry-on or pack it in your suitcase to check. It's the thing people forget most often, yet it's absolutely indispensable when you're traveling. You carry your stuff on your back and your arms don't get nearly as tired as they would if you were lugging a bag or, God forbid, plastic bags. A waist bag, a super useful item, especially when you don't have big, deep pockets in your pants or jacket, especially in hot climates where you're not wearing a lot of clothes. Cash, documents, your phone, all your valuables are stored right there with you, close to your body. It's hard to lose them, and stealing them, well, someone would really have to try. A compact power splitter. At the airport, if all the outlets are taken, you just plug it into any socket, and now every outlet is an option for you. And in a hotel, there are usually not enough outlets to charge all your gadgets. I talk about this in more detail in the video on the channel about airport secrets. An adapter. The outlets are different in different countries. I prefer a universal adapter. You buy it once and you're set. You're not running around in an unfamiliar country looking for what kind of adapter to buy there. I remember in Shanghai, I spent probably half a day just trying to find an adapter that would fit a Chinese outlet, all because I forgot my own. A power bank. A phone is everything on a trip. I learned this from my own experience when I forgot my phone during a layover and had to spend my entire business trip in Vietnam without it. A power bank will ensure you don't end up with a dead phone battery. And it drains fast, even in the city, because we take a lot of photos, the phone is searching for a network, we're looking for things on the phone, so definitely bring a power bank. But remember that there are special rules for carrying them in your carry-on luggage on a plane. I talk about this in more detail in my video about baggage and carry-on tips. A neck pillow for the plane. It seems like an obvious thing, but many people only remember it once they're already on the plane itself. I go into more detail about which pillow I chose and why I like it in my video about flight tips and how to avoid jet lag. The video's already on the channel. Headphones with active noise cancellation. A baby's crying, a dog is barking. You don't care. You can't hear a thing. Plus, it's much more convenient to listen to many things in public places with headphones. A sleep mask. It's useful for tuning out and sleeping in any conditions, especially if you're bothered by light. As a former resident of St. Petersburg, this isn't critical for me because I'm used to sleeping during the white nights, but it might come in handy for you. A bottle, thermos, or insulated mug. A versatile item with a lot of functions. Obviously, you can take water with you on a plane, on a hike, or for a walk around the city. But in cool weather, you can take hot tea, for example, and stay warm throughout your entire hike. You can also brew something in the bottle. Instant noodles, buckwheat porridge, or any snack you feel like having. It'll stay hot and hydrating. A first aid kit. All the necessary and emergency medications. This is a super important item. Never forget to bring a first aid kit with you. I talk about how to assemble it correctly, what to fill it with, and all the details in a separate video about travel safety. Feminine hygiene products. As strange as it sounds, a lot of women forget these. I've probably lost count of the number of times I've had to look for where to buy tampons or pads in some strange, unusual countries, while trying to explain what they're called in Arabic or Indonesian or Vietnamese. You know, the way you gesture that you need a tampon and your, say, Arab conversation partner tries to guess what it is, and it's very awkward to say what it is and what it's for you and for them. Just try showing with your hands without knowing the language that you want a tampon or a pad. Yes, one more important recommendation. When I'm getting ready for a trip, I always make a checklist of the things I need to take with me. About a week before the flight, I sit down, take a regular piece of paper, and write down everything that comes to mind. Everything I need, starting from, socks and underwear, and ending with something unusual that I'll need for this specific trip. Then I put that list in a visible place. And over the next few days, as I walk past it, I always remember something I forgot and add it to the checklist. And when I'm packing my suitcase the night before the trip, I just take that checklist and check things off as I go. It's a very simple thing, but for some reason, I've noticed that very few people do this. Definitely use this method. You'll save yourself a lot of stress. A super useful item. Probably don't need to explain why you need them when traveling, but in my experience, it's something people forget very often. Hand sanitizer. And this is especially important in Asian countries and in places where hygiene isn't very good. For example, in India, when we try to rinse our hands before a meal, it always caused a huge surprise among the local people. Like, why would you wash your hands before eating? And often, the sinks they eventually led us to were in such a terrible state that it was better to just treat your palms with sanitizer than to get your hands wet there. Sunscreen. Another leader in things forgotten at home. And we remember it not even when we're faced with the sun, but after we've already gotten burned and regret not having used it. And of course, it's more convenient and cheaper to buy it at home before your trip than to run around in another country searching through stores, overpaying, and not finding what you need. So don't forget. I remember on Sakota, we forgot sunscreen and drove around to all sorts of strange shops in search of this curiosity. The people who live there, dark-skinned, they don't need sunscreen. They looked at us like we were some kind of idiots when we tried to explain what it was we actually needed. Yes, in the end, we found a cream for preserving the whiteness of the skin made in Saudi Arabia. And it was the only thing we could find on the entire island. You see, they're swarthy there, and they bleach their skin. For them, the trend is to appear more fair-skinned. So we found exactly that kind of cream, which women rub in to make their skin a little lighter. And it also has a sunblock effect so that, you don't get a tan. You just made your skin white, and then it goes and gets tan again. Okay, a regular ballpoint tan. It seems like a simple thing, but time and again, I see the same scene. We're landing in some other country. The flight attendants start handing out forms to fill out for the border. And it turns out that for the entire large plane, there are only 1 or 2 pens. And everyone is trying to borrow these pens from each other to ask for one. And it's just chaos. Or you can choose not to fill it out on the plane and then waste an extra half hour at the border and get to the very back of the line for passport control. So this simple item can save you a lot of nerves and time. An important item is copies of all your documents. Passports, insurance, hotel vouchers, tickets. It's best to print everything out and have paper copies with you. It's also a good idea to take photos and have them on your phone, but your phone can run out of battery, and you'll end up in an unfamiliar place with no way to present your documents. It can also be very useful at the border when border guards suddenly start asking you strange questions, like, what hotel are you staying in? Like, show me your hotel reservation and so on. You pull out the copies of your documents, show them, and all their questions immediately disappear. It's a simple thing, but it saves a lot of nerves and time. Not to mention those cases where you simply lose the original and need to urgently replace some. Ziploc bags to keep things dry. Have you ever been caught in a rain so heavy that you get soaked through, well, literally down to your underwear? I have, many times, especially in tropical countries. I remember on the Amazon, we were sailing in a boat in the middle of the river, and the rain was so heavy that you couldn't see a meter in front of you. And I was trying to protect my camera. I was already completely soaked, but the main thing was to protect the electronics. So these small bags help you do just that, protect your most valuable items. Documents and electronics, they come in larger sizes, smaller sizes. This one has a double zip closure that doesn't allow moisture to get inside. So such a simple thing can save your valuables on a trip. You just take a whole pack and there you go, use them. A microfiber towel. It might seem strange, why would you bring a towel with you on a trip? If you stay in fairly high-end hotels every night, then you don't need this. But if you're in the woods, on a hike, in the jungle, in the desert, then having this little thing with you that dries quickly and doesn't take up much space is simply priceless. So a microfiber towel is a must-have for any adventure trip. A headlamp? Again, this is if you're going on an adventure trip. Of course, if you're staying in hotels every night, you can safely cross this one off the list. But if you've ever set up a tent in the dark or unpacked your things in the woods, somewhere in the jungle, then you'll understand me perfectly. It's an indispensable item. And no, the flashlight on your phone is not a substitute for a headlamp. When you have a flashlight on your head, your hands are free. So you can do anything with them. The flashlight on your phone, first of all, drains the battery very quickly, and you need your phone for other things, and it doesn't give off that much light. A multi-tool, a truly indispensable item, and not just for cutting something. although anyone who has bought fruit to take to their hotel has faced the problem of needing something to cut that fruit with. Besides the actual knife blades, there are also scissors, a saw, a corkscrew, tweezers, and a screwdriver. You never know which of these you'll need on a particular trip, but you have it all right at hand. Just don't forget that you can only carry it in your checked luggage. They won't let it in your carry-on. A rain poncho, of course, a lightweight one that doesn't take up much space or weight. You fold it into a small ball and always carry it with you in your pocket. It's several times better than an umbrella. It protects you from all sides and weighs practically nothing. I remember in Northern Ireland, we got caught in a terrifying downpour that, along with the wind, was coming from literally all sides and just enveloped us in water. It was raining, it was cold, just awful weather. We were in these rain ponchos. Everyone felt terrible. We were knee-deep in water. And the inscription on the poncho said, "Fun time. Have fun." Snacks. Now, this is useful not just in the jungle, but even in cities, because it's not a guarantee that the country you're visiting will have food that agrees with your stomach. And sometimes, simple things like protein bars, cereal bars, nuts, anything that's lightweight but high in calories, these things can be a real lifesaver. I remember when we traveled to Sakota, I brought along small sticks of smoked sausage. And they were so helpful, they really hit the spot on the island when we had to eat some questionable food. I was patting myself on the back several times for bringing them. And tea bags. Yes, this might seem a bit strange on this list, but my wife and I, for example, really love tea. And tea isn't common everywhere in the world. For example, in Japan, instead of tea, there's this strange green stuff that, sure, you can drink it, but we didn't enjoy it at all. You won't find tea everywhere in Europe, and there's practically no tea in America. Everyone prefers coffee, and then no one likes tea, so they take up very little space. But being able to have your favorite tea on a trip and enjoy it, that's priceless. And enjoy every moment of your travels.